Hey friends, a few weeks ago I reviewed the Mr. Suit R1 by OwLabs, and in this video I'll be going over the Mr. Suit R2, which I was lucky enough to pick up because they were very limited. Now since the R1 and the R2 are the same except with different color options, I'm not going to be doing a full review on the R2 as I feel like that would be pretty redundant. I'll just be doing a brief overview. But in this video I want to focus on the sound test and discussing that with the different plates, options that comes with the Mr. Suit. Okay, let's get started. Alright, so I have the black and gold chamfered wind keyless layout here. For my accessories, I did buy a set of their tungsten linear switches, a hot swap PCB, and an FR4 plate for myself. However, I also have to thank the team at OwLab for sponsoring and adding all the other plates I didn't buy into my order so that I can make this video possible. In the box, I got my plates, my PCB, the OwLab stabilizers, an aluminum artisan keycap of a randomly selected color, 2 pour and foam layers, a PE foam, components like rubber feet and gaskets, and of course, the keyboard case itself. First, I want to talk about some of the changes or differences between R1 and R2 really quick. Number 1, color combo of the case parts and weights. In R1, you get blue, red, green, and silver options on the case. R2, you get black or white with certain accent colors on the weights, and glossy variants will come with shiny silver or golden chamfers along the frame of the top case. Number 2, R2 has electrophoresis on baby powder. That's just the process of how they coat the color on the case, whereas R1 is anodized. In my review of the R1, I mentioned that the anodized aluminum surface is a bit rough, like chalkboard at least, in the unit that I borrowed, compared to the coating on R2 that's now really smooth. Number 3, updated stabilizers from alpha in R1 to beta in R2. There is a page that gives the entire details of the stabilizers, which I'll link down below. But the big selling point here is the wires are made from liquid metal, which means they are more flexible than conventional stabilizer wires. There is an elastic limit, and they do tell you not to abuse this material property by bending it like crazy, as that will still cause it to lose its original shape, causing deformation. Number 4, R2 added a random colored flower on the inside of the weight for glossy variants only. I myself do have one of the glossy variants, and inside my case, I have a red colored rose. The keyboard is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm super excited to use it as one of my dailies. So here's a bit about the sound test setup. Now, if you take into account all the combination of plates and foam used or unused, that's going to be way too much. So in my setup, what I will do is load the entire board with everything it comes with, both pour-on foam and the PE foam, while using the tungsten switches. The plates will include aluminum, PC, palm, and FR4. I also have to thank Hype Keyboards for sending a special FR4 half plate customized for the Mr. Suit. Hype Keyboards is a company that specializes in making custom FR4 plates for various keyboards, so I decided to add this into the sound test for additional comparisons. The stabilizers have been looped with Krytox 205 Grade 0 and Super Lube synthetic grease. The tungsten switches are also lubed with Krytox 205 Grade 0, and the springs are bag lubed with Krytox 105. Quick specs for these switches. They are nylon top and bottom with a long pole palm stem. JWK gold-plated stainless steel spring, 63 grams bottom out force, and come dry, which is great as I do want to use my own lube. As for the sound test, the Mr. Suit does not have very distinguishable sounds when comparing the different plates. In my honest opinion, they all sound the same. And to address any discrepancies between hearing it in person versus what was captured through the microphone and playing it back, I can still say that no matter what plates you use, it's going to sound the same on this particular keyboard, at least with this configuration where you have all the foam layers installed. That's not really a bad thing because it's a great sounding keyboard. It's a really good sounding keyboard. And it also set the standard, along with the Jelly Epic, for this particular unique marbly poppy sound that many other keyboards are trying to replicate through whether you use a PE foam mod or the Tempest tape mod, but it does take away the fun in having the options of different sounds. Additional notes about the tungsten switches. They do have spring ping in stock form. In my past experience, spring ping doesn't get solved just by bag looping with Krytox 105 alone. Normally, I do have to ring loop the top and bottom of the springs with 205 grade 0. However, I think bag looping is enough to reduce it where you don't hear much of it, and that's what I did here. Now, since the Mr. Suit and Jelly Epic have that undifferentiating sound with the plate options, it leaves the user with one thing when choosing the plates, and that's flex and feel. Although, even in that category, you still don't have much of a range because the aluminum and FR4 plates have a lot of flex cuts, making them very flexible. And the PC and palm plates are already flexible due to the nature of the material itself. So my overall conclusion and personal experience with the Mr. Suit, it sounds the same and feels the same no matter what plate you use, even on the FR4 half plate. Although there is one thing. On the FR4 half plate, the keycaps and switches on the alphas are a bit more wobbly, and it's because you don't have the plate there to keep it more stable. But that's only on the hot swap PCB. So if you have a solder PCB, then you're not gonna have any wobble. Now I believe if you remove the PE foam out of the equation and maybe some of the other Poron foam layers out of the keyboard as well, you're gonna start to get a wider range of sound profiles on the Mr. Suit. However, that is not an experiment I did here in this video because that is a whole lot of different configurations, and that is something that I will be messing around with the longer I use this keyboard. So if you have a Mr. Suit and you had built it without the Poron foam or the PE foam, let me know down in the comments below and what your thoughts are. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thumbs and subs if you want to see more keyboard content from me, and thank you so much for watching. As always, I'll see you next time.